Hey, John in San Antonio.
Uh,
Pronouns of they, them. Thanks for calling. You're on the Sunday show with Jimmy and Matt.
yes, where do you want to start with this? I said God is self-evident and an objective
Well,
fact in reality.
so if God is self-evident, then there's no argument for it. It's just obvious, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how can you argue for something that is self-evident?
I'm not arguing for it. I'm just simply pointing out the facts. I'm not really arguing about it. I'm just
Okay. Well, if all your
pointing.
your
Sure.
entire point
Some
is to
people
say
have
that God is
wrong
self-evident, if your
methodologies,
entire point is,
ideologies, and that's what
wow, can you not
Christian.
hear me?
I'm lagging out a little bit.
Sure. So pause for a second. Here, I tell you what we'll do. I'm going to mute you, then I'll unmute you when I'm done asking. So when you say God is an objective, self-evident concept that has always existed, how can you know that apart from just saying it's to you it's self-evident? How do you? Is there anything else other than you think it's self-evident?
It's not just me that came to this conclusion throughout history. Everyone
No,
has been saying there is. It's not
no,
just me.
sir.
I'm not the only one
No,
drawing this
sir.
conclusion.
I'm not drawing that conclusion. Which God is it that you think is self-evident? Can you give me characteristics of that God?
God is self-forming, an infinite self-forming conscious being.
Okay. Infinite, self-forming, conscious being. And you say that it's
Yeah.
self-evident that an infinite self-forming conscious being exists. Why would it need to be self-forming? Why wouldn't it just have always existed and then therefore be not forming at all?
Well, that's the part where I said it's infinite because it has always existed in an infinite state. The self-forming
So
part
no.
is where we.
What I'm saying is infinite and self-forming. What do you mean by self-forming? Because that seems like self-originating.
Self-forming refers to self-organization.
Okay, but
Infinite refers to
that's
the
not.
fact that it
Why
always
would it need to
existed
be organizing if it always was?
because it was in a chaotic state at what point, and at one point when what we perceive to be chaos.
So to you, it's self-evident that at some point this conscious being was in an unformed chaotic state and then self-formed. So it changed from being chaotic to being orderly at some point.
Yes.
How long did that take?
Well, time is like we're talking about the before the Big Bang, right? So
I don't know.
time
When
didn't
did it
exist
happen?
at this point.
You tell me. You're the one that's saying that this infinite conscious being went from being chaotic to orderly. When did that happen?
Well, some say it took eternity. Like
No.
some say it took a long time.
When?
There's no way to measure it. There's no way to measure time when there's no sense of relativity.
Right.
If
There's no
everything's in a
way to
chaotic
measure
state.
time outside of time. And so how can something go from being chaotic to orderly without time? Does it? Because it takes time to do something.
You're only perceiving it from your the
No,
state
I'm not
of
asking.
the
No, sir. No,
state of
John,
mind
this
that
is
you're in.
not John. This is not about how I perceive it. You're the one making an assertion. Your assertion so far is that there was an infinite, chaotic, conscious being that at some point outside of time became orderly. And I'm saying, how does that work? Because any change requires time. And so if you're saying outside with no time, absence of time, something went from chaotic to orderly. When did that happen? And how do you know? Because you're claiming all of this is self-evident, and it's not evident to me at all that there's a conscious being that could possibly exist outside of time. It's not evident to me that anything could exist outside of time, since existence is necessarily temporal. And it's not self-evident to me that anything that could be chaotic could self-organize and do so absent time. So I'm kind of stuck because you're claiming something is self-evident that I find preposterous and contradictory.
Yeah, and that's why I go back to say this state of consciousness you're in right now is limiting your ability to comprehend.
Are you in the
There's
same state
different
of
states of
consciousness that
consciousness.
I'm in? Are you in the same state of consciousness
I
that I'm
doubt it.
in? You're not.
I doubt it.
So my state of consciousness is limited, but yours isn't.
I think I'm more aware. I think there's different levels of consciousness that could be more aware of
How do you
and be able
demonstrate
to
that how do you
comprehend.
demonstrate the truth of what you're saying, that there are different levels of consciousness and that you are more aware? How do you demonstrate that?
Well, first, I think we could all agree there's like a rat has a certain level of consciousness that doesn't equal ours. Can we agree to that at
No.
least?
No,
A
and
rat?
how many
A
rats do you
cockroach?
have? Because I have about 300 rats right now. And what I can say is that while their cognitive abilities are not necessarily the same as ours, I don't know how to put those in comparison. And that's completely separate from whether or not consciousness has levels. My rats appear to be consciousness at the same level as anybody else. Consciousness seems to be pretty much a static level.
And theism, correct? Yeah.
Wait, I'm hearing.
I was verifying something on YouTube and I thought my mic was muted. Hey, John, why did you change your name from Clark after you were banned from calling the show? No answer?
Well, setting that aside, John, since of the two of us, I'm the one that's the expert on rats.
Ah, they hung up. Fuck you,
You
Clark.
ran off.
Fuck you in your fucking face. This was the person who called and attacked your blood pressure and started saying a bunch of shit, and then also called me a philosophy slow boy because I wasn't going down their track of sublating the principles and whether or not moral claims are propositional and their fucking 20 claim long proposition that I said I would shop around and see if anybody wanted to debate. And then he was such an absolute asshole that we cut off. This is a person who's trying to get around the ban, who has been owned time after time. And by the way, after calling me a philosophy slow boy, and I believe using another ableist slur, then called back to argue with Matt and I on a different day and revealed, I'm very tired, revealed that...
That's pretty good, though.
Revealized is nice. I'm the philosophy
like it.
slow boy. However, John/Clark is not familiar with what solipsism is. You remember that one, Matt?
I kind of do. And the voice was kind of similar. I just noticed that he had called before. So
Yeah.
it was fine. It's funny, you know, I still, despite the fact that he was a troll, he could have been honestly presenting what he believes. But the second that you want to claim that you're on a higher level or different level of consciousness from other humans, while fundamentally getting some concepts wrong, and then finding out that you're going to talk about rats when I have hundreds of them that I interact with daily,
Yeah.
it's very strange to me, because if in fact he was on a higher level of consciousness, I don't ever want to be on that level of consciousness because I don't want to sound like an uninformed douche nozzle.
Yeah. The reason I figured out it was, okay, so this time they called in with they, them pronouns just out of an abundance of caution. I will continue to use them. When they had called as Clark, they had different pronouns. The reason I realized was when they started bringing up the time stuff. This was also the caller who, when it is revealed that they believe specifically in the Christian God, and I start asking, so do you believe that Jesus literally was resurrected in the past? Would not say, basically said they don't adhere to our standard of time and how time works, and that time, and then tried to start quoting Einstein in ways they didn't understand. This is an ableist asshole of a person who we banned from the show for using multiple slurs and then making remarks about Matt's weight and stuff. So,
hey, my weight's fucking awesome. So I mean, I want to get further down, but I mean, considering I spent the last 20 years around 260 and now I'm much closer to 200. Cool.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jimmy Snow. I'm the executive producer of The Line. And at night, I sneak into Matt Dillahunty's house and I trade his cereals for other cereals. He comes out and he's like, wait, these are cereals I buy, but I swear I had different cereals. Anyway, would you like to support this channel or any specific show? You can do so over on Patreon or in channel memberships. There are special tiers for special shows or for the channel at large, and it helps us expand programming as well as hopefully very soon launch it in podcast form. Now, also, if you'd like to support, you can like, you can subscribe, you can leave a comment or a super thanks, which is a special highlighted comment that you pay for. Those are fun. And, screw the algorithm, go check out something over here, I suppose. Boy, I hope I can still put those icons there, because if I can't, this is going to look really stupid. I'm going to go buy some Cocoa Puffs and switch out Matt's mini wheats now.